Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Coffee Shop Soundstage, sponsored by QXL. My name is Karen Edwards, and we are live at the Florida Roofing Expo 2025. And I'm sitting here with Susan and Mims from VELUX, and you guys represent two different divisions
We do.
from
We do.
VELUX. So I
Go
was
ahead.
just going to
Sorry.
say, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do.
Absolutely. So I'm Susan Flanagan. I am over the commercial side for Texas and the Southeast, the majority of it, about three states minus, but and covering a large swath of the U.S., handling the commercial side of the product. So we do have a little crossover with residential every now and then, and so I will let my wonderful partner here talk about the residential side, and we can jump into it from there.
Oh, yeah. So, Mims, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Yes, my name's Mims Mobley. I'm the district sales manager for the Southeast for VELUX Residential. Um, we, as a manufacturer, have actually been manufacturing skylights since 1941. We've actually been here in the States for 50 years now,
Wow.
manufacturing and distributing here in the States. So my focus is to really grow and support the residential business of skylights within the markets in the Southeast.
Excellent. So, this has been a really busy show. And I
Yes, I have.
always love to hear from the exhibitors, what are the contractors asking about? What do they want to know? And um, what's new that you're talking about with them at this show? Do you want to start us off?
Sure, yeah. So a lot of times when we start talking about rooftop daylighting, which is really the category within the building community that we play in, when we start talking about that, the standard themes always come to light. People are always concerned about leaks and about the product being sound, and of course that's super important to us. And one of the things that I think is interesting, a lot of times people will say, we don't want it to leak. And m- my response guaranteed is that no one wants that more than we do. So,
That's true.
we're a big believer of when you make something, you do it right the first time. We don't want to spend the rest of our lives apologizing for poor quality or poor performance. And one of the things that's super important to us is proper testing. And so we are adamant about making sure that our product doesn't just meet the local codes. And here in Florida, obviously we have some pretty difficult environments when we get into the hurricane season that we're
Right.
in now.
Just started.
That's right. So and I think we have one approaching already somewhere. We hear one spinning up somewhere. So we run into that. So we know that there's a whole lot more to it than just rain, right? So we've got pressures and wind, and so we want to make sure we're testing that. But even the most basic of testing when it comes to daylighting, we talk about the NFRC, and that basically is your thermal performance testing. And there are a lot of manufacturers out there who kind of skip that. They may do some in-house testing, but they don't go the full way and do a third party test with that. And that's important in terms of making sure we're not bringing in heat,
Yeah.
where we don't want that, or we're not letting out heat when we go more northerly. So those are the things that I mainly come across when I'm working, one of these shows, and working with clients and talking about that.
Yeah, because when it comes to roofs, contractors don't like to cut holes in roofs, right? We don't want that. And then are we in Florida? It's sunny, it's hot. We want the light, but we don't want to heat up the building.
Right.
So those are the kind of things that you guys excel
It is, and we stand behind what we say because it's easy for us to warranty a good product. In the commercial side, we have unit skylights, and we go all the way to structural. And so we have this thermal performance testing, and then we have Miami-Dade, and we have Florida product approval, and these different areas. But we also carry over to the residential area, and I don't want to take away from Mims because Mims has some great new products that I
in.
want him to touch on. But one thing that we do hand in hand is when we're working with an owner, a homeowner, and they have a desire for a very large structural skylight that moves over into the commercial side because we run our own calculations. We don't let external firms do that. We know our
Okay.
product, and we want to make sure that it does what we say it will, and that we don't have leaks and we don't have poor thermal
Especially if
performance.
you're warrantying that.
Yes, yes. If
Yeah,
we're doing that, we want to make sure that we have a reason, a really
right.
solid product. And then I do want to to have Mims jump in because he has some wonderful. I'm jealous. Has some wonderful new products.
You got some great
Beautiful.
products yourself.
We
So.
do. We have. He's got some really cool new stuff. So I'm gonna let him
let's
jump
talk
in.
about that.
Well,
Let's
actually,
go.
you sort of hit the nail on the head about some of the concerns, right? Why cut a hole in the roof? Well, people do like daylight. They
Yeah.
want to bring in natural daylight. But you also identified a couple of concerns that people have. They like to be able to control daylight. They also want to make sure that their house is performing at high energy levels. Well, one of the things that VLUX has actually done this year is to that point, and actually this stems from a lot of consumer research that we've done over the past 5 years. We have actually introduced shade, solar powered shades, as a standard feature of all of our glass skylights. The benefit to the homeowner on that is the fact that now they can have the benefit of all that natural daylight, but then they can also control it, right?
Oh,
Everybody loves daylight, but they do want to control it. And so the benefit to the homeowner now is the fact that they can control that daylight. If it's a sunny day on a Sunday afternoon and they're watching TV and they don't want the glare on the TV, they can now control that. That solar heat gain that you were talking about, the solar shade actually improves solar heat gain by 19%. So it actually blocks out all that energy, that solar energy that might cause heat in the house. Now, granted, our skylights are already featuring solar low E technology. We've got low E 340 glass and low E 366 glass as our standard options of glass performance. But again, it still improves even that by 19%.
wow.
So it really puts the control of the environment in the hands of the homeowner.
So how does that work? I imagine it's remote because you're not flying
Convenience is
you're not
Long
flying in a
yeah,
exactly.
powder.
very advanced
Who wants to
technology.
use a controller,
Right.
right? Exactly.
And so it doesn't have to be hardwired into the electrical system.
Great question. And no.
Okay.
So it is that we've actually incorporated solar technology into the shade itself. So it has a nickel hydride battery. It recharges itself, and then you use a remote control to actually up and down button, just up, stop, down. And then if a homeowner wants to take it to an additional level, they can actually get a interactive gateway that will allow them to control it with their cell phone. And they can, at that point, actually program it. If they want that shade to close between 11 and 3 o'clock in the day when
Nice.
they're not at home, they can actually program that shade to do that and not worry about having to be there to close the shade to cut off the sunlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, that is very
Uh,
cool. I see why you're jealous.
We did.
Are we?
Well, we do. No, we do have
oh, they
some of
do.
that
Okay.
control on our
You
side.
don't, you
So
don't have any of that on yours?
we
I thought
do.
you had
We just
to.
have some stuff on a little bit bigger scale, but
Yeah.
yes, we
Much
do
bigger.
much bigger. So we have a product called VMS, and it's really the only product like it on the market. It's a module based type product, and what we mean by that is you have one module, but you can make up thousands of different types of configurations. It slides together on rails, clamps in place, and it becomes airtight, watertight. So really beautiful install. It's very simple. We actually have 420 modules of it installed by 2 men in 15 days.
Oh,
So
wow.
it cuts down on the install time. So when we get into that big structural look, but people don't want to have to deal with a long lead time, a long install time. This is a great product for that, and it also incorporates shades. It does give an option with this product because this tends to be used a little bit more in the commercial side of the world. We do it in house
Yeah.
as well, but when we tend to use that in the commercial environment, that product will have an option for shades because you have so many more modules, bigger space, bigger skylights. So we give them the option of putting it on the modules that they need. Again, on a remote,
Mhm.
it's low voltage, can tie into building systems. The other aspect of having that control is it meets a sustainable requirement. So if we get into these certifications like WELL and LEED,
Yes.
those things where you have to have end user control, we can address it that way too. So
Okay.
we cross pollinate. We share
Yeah.
these technologies, and we share that name under the VELUX brand, and people know our product. They know that
Oh, yeah.
it's made to last. So
Yeah. Quick question for you. How long does the battery last? It's
That's a great
rechargeable,
question.
but
So I always have fun with this one because what's your typical warranty on an electronic item, right?
1 year? No.
1 year. Exactly. It's true,
Yeah,
right?
unless you want to buy the 3-year extendable.
Exactly. Our standard warranty is a 5-year non-prorated warranty. And I always tell everybody, while that might be the warranty period, by no means is that life expectancy.
Yeah,
Typically, you can take a warranty period and stretch that out at least 3 times.
yeah,
So we've been manufacturing solar technology since in the shade since 2011, and our failure rate is maybe 2%,
yeah,
and even that is actually within the warranty period.
yeah,
So very reliable system, very
yeah,
reliable system.
yeah.
Yeah,
That sounds so cool.
yeah,
Now, I always say I talk to people all day about all these cool things, and now I want a skylight in my house, whether retractable,
sure.
remote. Yeah, that'd be
You know
great.
who to call.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
We're right here. We're ready.
Exactly. I
but
know. So we're day 2 of the show. It's been super busy. Um, any highlights for each of you with, maybe think something you were surprised about or
A lot of solid connections. And I think, you come to trade shows and sometimes you'll find at certain conferences that you'll meet a lot of people, but you don't always get all the results out of it that you would ideally like to have. Because
right.
as much as we love to be here to shop our product, we're also here to make a living.
That's great.
So we want to connect. We want to talk about projects. And one of the things that I really found that's been very beneficial about this show is that we've had really quality visits into booth, people who are interested, who are asking good questions,
Yeah.
and who want to have that connection afterwards.
Yeah.
And so it's super important. And I think what's been great is I've had people come up to the booth with multiple projects. So that's always a win for us.
That is a
Yeah,
win.
walk away with this one.
Feel
I
the
would
same?
say one of the things is you've got a lot of inquiring customer contractors who want to learn about new products
Yeah.
and they want to understand how that's going to actually benefit their consumers.
Yeah.
Um, to me, that's very important. That means they've got the consumer's interest in their mind to make themselves very increase their referral business, right?
Yeah.
So to me, I think that's one of the keys of what this particular Expo does is it allows the contractors the benefit and opportunity to better educate themselves so that they can be a better service to their consumers.
Yeah,
So
I've noticed that as well. Others have commented on it that the people that are here really want to learn.
they
They
do.
want to see what's new. They want to understand if this is something they need to be offering to their customers. So yeah, this has been a great show.
It has.
It's been good.
Well, thank you both for
Yeah,
being
thank you.
here.
Thank
This
you.
was a
Good.
great
Fun.
conversation. Yeah, if you're running out of time, if you're not here yet, you got about 2
Right,
hours.
right.
Stop by, say hi if you are here.
Please
If
do.
not, just come to RoofersCoffeeShop.com. We've got a full directory for VELUX commercial anyway on the site, so you'll have links, contact information, and know how to get in touch and find your rep. Right?
Awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Yes,
Very good.
absolutely.
All right, we are not done. We've got a couple more videos to bring to you before we wrap it up, and don't go anywhere because we want to see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.